Everybody, welcome back to British Stand. Today, of course, London, as always, has been taken over by British Patriots, which is always glorious to see the footage. And this time, of course, the protest is with regard to, marching against the grooming gang situation, of course, that has plagued this country for decades upon decades. And again, it does seem as though that the government, recently the government have launched a full-scale national inquiry after stalling for a very long time. However, British Patriots have come out in their numbers, as they always do, and have protested against it. Now, I'm going to show you some footage, of course, some glorious footage of some of the scenes there, of course, to see everybody turning out in spectacular numbers. But today I want to also have a little talk about a counter-protest. Yes, a counter-protest for this protest. Disgusting. Who in their right mind counter-protests against child safety? Who are these individuals? Well, there are some of them. Now, I get it. Sometimes, of course, there are different types of protests that British Patriots go on, or people in Britain go on, and there's always a counter-protest. You know, sometimes it could be for, I don't know, I suppose with the Tommy Robinson or Unite the Kingdom, all of these kind of things. You get the Stand Up to Racism mob that come out and counter-protest against it. But there's individuals, and there's not as many as there normally is at these counter-protests, but there's individuals that are actually, well, they're not showing their face, they're of course masked up, that are actually counter-protesting against child safety and almost pro-grooming gangs. It's sick and disgusting. In today's video, guys, we are going to be watching some of this footage as they clash with police. They also, of course, there's some words exchanged with the actual protest itself. But we'll get into all of the footage, and you can watch for yourself. As always, violent, all of these kind of things, as they always are. We'll go through your thoughts and opinions in the live chat. So do get involved, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all that jazz. And let's have a little watch of some of the footage, first and foremost, of British Patriots turning out in spectacular numbers. And then we'll get into the counter-protest momentarily and the clash with the police.
You have to just
Now let's get into some of the counter-protests as stated. This footage is, of course, from a journalist called Matt on Twitter, so I hope he doesn't mind me using. Go check out his stuff. He's, of course, at the parade. I've put his credentials there in the top right. But yeah, have a little look at this counter-protest.
Facing the wrong way, sir. Keep moving. Officers are pushing the Antifa protesters. Into blue, police, WC1. To move back. Get back! To prevent harm to themselves.
Always masked up, aren't they? Always masked up. Can't show the face. And to be fair, I wouldn't be sure. Well, I mean, no one in their right mind would be on a counter protest for this anyway. But my goodness me, yeah, they have no other choice but to not show their face. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And then it's a bit more of the actual protests going ahead, so we can see some more of that and end more on a positive note. But the counter protests, I just cannot get over my head over it. I really can't. So yes, overall some really good turnout, great cause, and credit to everybody that's been there. I've been following a bit of 2C's coverage also there, and Matt's done a great job on X, of course, capturing some footage of the counter protest. So if you haven't already followed him on X, an independent journalist, go check him out. I've left his credit there in the top corner, Matt Capon. So check it out, some good footage there from the ground. But yeah, I mean, it's disgusting. It really is disgusting from what I'm actually seeing from these individuals, the counter-protest. I know I can sometimes understand that not everyone's going to agree on everything. No one's going to agree on everything, and sometimes the protests that British Patriots may do, or they're there, sometimes I can think, yeah, maybe someone might not have the same opinion, I can get my head around it. But when it comes to child safety and protesting against grooming gangs, how on earth is someone so sick and disgusting that goes, you know what, I'm going to spend my Sunday and counter-protest against this? It's absolutely disgusting. And probably one of the most outrageous and sickening things I've covered here on British Standard. We've covered a lot, but there's people living amongst us that are actually counter-protesting child safety on the streets of London. And they're not showing their face because they're not brave enough to show their face. They never show their face anyway. But those people that you just seen there are counter-protesting against child safety. disgusting, and actually is making me and my skin crawl just thinking that there's individuals walking amongst us in our country, in our capital city, that are doing that. Disgusting. It really is messed up. Saturday, guys. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I was already smelling a roast dinner. That's why. Sorry, Saturday. But yeah, HZ says they need investigating. Absolutely, they need to their hard drives checked. They need something checked out if they have those views, those values and views on a situation such as important as this. That they're out counter protesting against it. Liam says, this is England and our children must be protected. It must be a priority. Absolutely, 100%. And credit to every single individual there on the ground today. Big shout out to you all. And a great numbers as well. Really, really good numbers, and great to see people going out there and flying the flag high. It really does make me proud to be British to see that on a day-to-day basis or at these protests. It's very interesting how they always deploy proper police forces to all British protests, but to the pro-Palestine and Muslim protests, they deploy women officers and newbies who get intimidated. I've seen it many, many times with regard to their protests. It's definitely not policed the same. However, what I would say is that the far left groups are far more violent than... I don't even think British Patriot marches, or if you want to call it that, normal people that live within the country... I never hear a report of a disturbance. Of course, you're going to get one or two arseholes if there's 100,000 people at a protest. It's like if you went to Wembley Stadium to watch a football game or go to a concert, there's always probably going to be one arrest. There's always going to be something that goes on. At a large-scale event, there's always going to be one or two small little incidents, and that's probably the case. But every time I see one of these Palestine protests or pro-left-wing protests, it's always carnage, it's always confrontations with police, it's always fighting with other protesters, it's always violent, and it's downright disgusting some of the chants that they actually say and get away with. Wrecking war memorials within our country as well is absolutely sickening, but they get away with this kind of stuff, and it never really, they never really get the book handed to them. However, if you look at it on the other side, if you always hark back to Southport, of course, last summer, then, people were going to jail for a very, very long time. I always think of Peter Lynch. He was just holding a placard, wasn't he? And he went to jail for 2 years. And unfortunately isn't with us anymore. But that just shows that they do police these events a lot different. Guna says, nothing surprises me in this country anymore. No, you're absolutely right. You got to ask yourself why English people against safety of women and girls. Why are English women against the safety of children? I have no idea, but let me just go get this footage up again real quickly because it's quite important. So you can see the individuals' faces. Again, you can't really see them, but maybe you can see where their background's from and all of these kind of things. But that's how... 2 seconds. Let me try and find the one where they actually go. So you can get a good look at their faces here. There's a lot of women there. Which is sickening. I mean, I'm not to say that even the men being there as well, of course, both sexes being there is absolutely disgusting. But sometimes you just think, with women and most of the all of the grooming gang, the groomers, if you want to call it, were men. There's women here. Disgusting. Get something in their face. They need to be named and shamed. They don't have jobs anyway, these people, but they need to be named and shamed. They're not a good looking bunch, are they? They're not a good looking bunch, we'll say that. The British Patriots, we've got a good looking bunch, but these guys, Fucking stinking. They look like they haven't washed in yet ages.
Officers are pushing the anti-protesters.
Who's that tit there with the freaking rag on his head?
Interviews with police WC1.
So yeah, you can kind of get the pictures of the demographics of these individuals. You know, they're the same ones. They look like they haven't washed in absolutely ages, and they like to protest all of the time. That's the group. But again, I understand if you want to counter-protest, but to counter-protest against this, dirty. Viper says, can smell them from here. I can as well. Susie says the smell must be ripe in this weather. Yeah, it's a hot day as well. Martin says 15 people protest. I mean, that's the counter protest, and that's just one or two different bits there. That's just one or two different clips that we've seen. Yeah, I mean, there's more than 15, but still, there's a lot of people that are counter protesting against child safety. So it doesn't matter what the numbers are. These people are still living amongst us. Thank you so much for the donation there, Rusty Nutter. It says Woodhill isolation for toilet stama. Absolutely. Thank you for the donation as well, by the way. What are they hiding? Those that might have a job will be sacked. I don't think they do have a job. They're always at every single protest, whether that be Monday through to Friday. They don't have jobs, these people. Dylan says, wonder how long they'd be out there if their face coverings were banned. They know they're wrong. They're just looking for a reason to be upset. Yeah, I get it. I know they need to have something to be upset about. But why would they want to put their organization, their protest group, to something against child safety? Sorry, but I don't care how left-wing you are. I don't care how in-depth and woke you want to be, or liberal, or whatever word you want to use. When it comes to a protest about child safety, every sane person must support that. I don't care who's running or whose name is there running the protest. It does not mean you should be countering against it. It's absolutely sick and disgusting. But yeah. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll leave it there. Some good footage from, of course, the protest, of course. Your 2C TV is always a great place to go for that as well. I think he's out on the ground at this moment in time. Maya and, of course, Matt, as I've just shared there on X, for those of you on X, sharing some really good footage from the ground as well. But we'll be up and keeping you up to date as the sort of day goes on. If there's anything more to report on, then we'll be there. But do let me know your thoughts on this down there in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe